Welcome to Victor and our next installment. This week, we're very excited to be interviewing former GB middle distance runner, Hannah England, as we look into the importance of analysis and preparation. Hannah competed for Great Britain at every major championship with a memorable silver in the Worlds in Daegu in 2011. Hannah is an alumni of the University of Birmingham, having studied biochemistry. Hannah, thank you for joining us.
Hiya, nice to see you, Steve.
Tell me about how you got into athletics and what were your key influences at a young age?
So I came from a really sporty family. My brother and sister loved playing sport, and we'd always be out doing stuff. But I really not very coordinated, which how can you end up being an Olympian in one sport without any coordination? But that's me. So I did all the team sports at school. But then went on to cross country race probably about 12 or 13 and really fell in love with the sport. I did tremendously well in my first race. I think I was third or something like that. And it was just this wonderful symmetry between the harder I tried, the better I did, which just wasn't the case in the team sports or the sports with equipment for me. It didn't really work as well. So I just absolutely loved athletics and just threw myself into my local club and just really enjoyed it from there.
And as you moved up the ranks, what was the point where you recognized the importance of preparation?
I've always been very detail driven. I think that would have shown sort of academically at school. I really enjoyed academics and I really sort of enjoyed problem solving and getting information and applying it to stuff. And I definitely found that was the case with my athletics. And that was something I sort of grew gradually through my career. I was lucky to be on a mentoring program with Dame Kelly Holmes at 17, and that was my first sort of exposure to what it would take to be a successful athlete. And that for me, that wasn't necessarily being an Olympian or being a professional athlete, it was being the best I could be, and to have the chance to look at athletes a little bit older than me, never mind a double Olympic champion like Kelly Holmes, and sort of glean from them like, wow, what are they doing that I'm not? And I really enjoyed sort of building up that repertoire and then going away and applying it to my own training. And it was a wonderful learning process of what worked and what didn't. And so I just became absolutely addicted to gathering all this information, this detail, and approaching sport from that sort of position.
Coming into a major competition, what was your process of preparation and analysis?
I would really, 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 really prepare. That gave me a lot of confidence. It kept me calm. It stopped me getting nervous to know that I had thought through absolutely everything. So that would definitely be my approach. I would write and rewrite a plan that would be the whole year, but then really as you get into that sort of 3 or 4 weeks before a major competition or a major opportunity, I would have planned every half day and color coded it, and that would be sort of my process. And then I'd have a lot of analysis year on year, just what worked and didn't work, and try and refine that perfect plan really.
What were the examples where perhaps you had to make last minute adjustments, and was it difficult to deal with that change, particularly having done all that preparation?
I definitely had times when I had to reassess my plan. It was hard. I'd really buy into these plans I wrote and that I'd written with my team, and I would often find it really hard to deviate from them. I sort of two sides of it, being that meticulous and being that detail driven could make you a slave to a plan. And that was often a challenge when I couldn't see the writing on the wall. I'd have something like a cold or something wouldn't be right. I'd be slightly off the boil, and I would very stubbornly be like, no, we have written this plan. And I think it was chiseled into rock, and it was totally non-negotiable, often to my detriment, that I would plow on. And it took some really sort of strong interventions from some of my husband or my coach to say, Hannah, like, stop this, you need to make adjustments. So I was definitely fell foul of sort of really religiously sticking to a plan. I found it a bit easier if I had a huge disruption. Like, I did have some really major injuries. I had one a few weeks before London 2012. I was spiked to my Achilles, and that utterly derailed my training. You can't suddenly stick to a plan when you end up in a hospital bed with blood poisoning. Okay. And when big disruptions like that would happen, I would throw myself back into writing a new plan. Always back to the planning. I'd throw myself into writing a new plan and really take strength from mapping out where I was going to move forward from that sort of controversy or that challenge, like how I would move forward from that to still get the best out of myself.
Your approach to competing changed as you matured?
Yes, I'd say as a younger athlete, I was very, very nervous. I would have a lot of sort of fear of failure, and just sort of like a lot of things that people talk about nowadays. You got fear of failure, you got imposter syndrome, that sort of thing. I'd sort of go, you know, I don't belong on this stage, and it would almost, I knew that I was a very, like I keep saying, like diligent, and I would prepare a lot, and I would use that preparation as a way to try and cancel out those nerves. And then, you know, I really enjoyed the idea of, you know, I've prepared as well as I can, and standing on this start line, I'm going to give myself the best shot possible. In the first half of my career, that would be to cancel out nerves. And it was what was really fun, and it took a lot of work with the sports side and with my team and stuff, was to turn that diligence and that preparation into a strength. So instead of just trying to be like, oh, I'm not nervous, you know, I have done everything I can, it's going like, ooh, like I've got a world-class plan. I've executed a world-class plan. And it allowed me to sort of stand on the start line and look around me and say, well, you know, I know what I've done is fantastic to get to this point. And that was really important for me in endurance running. We come up against East Africans a lot. And people say, oh, you know, genetically, they've got a lot of advantages over us. They've been born and raised at altitude, all this sort of stuff. And it allowed me to sort of stand on the start line and say, yeah, you might have that, but I know, you know, I've been a student of this sport, and I've got myself here, and that sort of helped me, you know, kind of give myself a bit more respect in settings. And we also have the issue in endurance sport of a lot of doping. Well, you know, who knows how much doping. But yeah, that was always sort of one you kind of, it was easy to have the attitude like, oh, I could never beat these people anyway if they're cheating. And I'd stand there and say, well, you might have cheated, but I reckon I've prepared better than you. Like, I reckon my attention to detail is still going to be superior to yours, and like let's see how that matches up against you cheating. And yeah, that was sort of I'm a bit of a control freak, but you know, that allowed me to take utter control of that situation and then take confidence in that as well. And I think that helped unlock a lot of good performances on the track. I'm pretty proud of a lot of my best summers. Like, I massively outperformed my ranking. I think I went into the World Championships ranked 11th and came second. At the Olympics with an injury, I think I worked out, I went in ranked 26th and came 22nd with one Achilles. And then the year after that, I think I went to the World Champs, maybe ranked 15th or 16th and came 4th. And it was sort of, you know, I really turned this corner into like, how can I make this aspect of my personality sort of a bit OCD and really detail driven, and how can I turn that into a strength and help me perform on the biggest stage.
Thank you very much for your time. It was super interesting learning about your background and your experiences, and best of luck for the future.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Busy.